Founders trust their lawyer on the contract. They trust their accountant on the numbers. Then they sit across from the GTM advisor, and you know this well, and suddenly they're the expert in the room, right? They know everything, and they know where they're going. And I always like to say that's a year of runway down the drain. And really, that also goes to another point that I really believe that lean is the word founders use right before they spend a ton of money on the wrong people, on the wrong platforms, and on the wrong product, and basically doing everything incorrectly.
Yeah.
That's my general thesis when it comes to not doing GTM the right way. And I think this time, let's talk about kind of what it is, how you can set yourself up to, basically do your right strategy in a go-to-market, strategy very well. I want to ask you, Son, kind of what do you think makes kind of go-to-market advisors, in my mind, kind of expendable to the startup founder?
That's a good question. And to your point, I feel that, if we're going to go back to the example you gave, with lawyers or CPAs, finance people, founder, CEO, you've got a legal problem, you bring in your law firm, your legal advisor, you're going to do exactly what they say, right? Same thing with finance, just because they don't know it, right? I'm sure that a founder or a CEO with a legal background is probably going to do the same thing.
Sure.
But since, legal finance is like a foreign thing, everyone knows sales and marketing, right? It's easy. Everyone knows it. And I've got ChatGPT, and now I, do the same thing with legal.
Sure.
So that's kind of where CEO sits in front of a GTM specialist or a, marketing consultant. They feel like they have a say more than in the legal matter. And that's kind of the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Now they're like, well, micromanaging, interfering. We don't need to do discovery. I want to see impact right now, which is the lean. So let's run a campaign, but hey, this is not what I signed up for. Right? I'm here to help you penetrate the U.S. market.
Right.
That's the scope.
Right.
How did we get from
And that's a skill set too.
Of course.
Right.
We talked about this in a previous episode. That's a part of the hubris, by the way, right? Because, if we're on a call, if we're jumping into something, there's a process. That's how I'm working. Okay, just like with the legal experts.
100%, right? They're coming there. They have a plan. They know what they're going through. What would you say is your goal when you come and work with a founder? You, Son, they come to you. They're saying, hey, we want to do something in America. We're ready to expand. We want to try a new market, whatever it might be. And they come to you and they say this. What is your goal as a GTM advisor? Is your goal to, kind of lay down the law, or what is it?
I don't think that there's a law, but I'll try and understand what they're trying to accomplish.
Sure.
Right. I think that, selling software to innovative companies is completely different than, trying to sell hardware to companies that are not actually in New York. Okay. They're in the Midwest or whatnot. So it doesn't necessarily mean, how they say if you make it in New York, you're going to make it anywhere.
Yeah.
So you don't have to go straight to Manhattan or San Francisco, right? Maybe, we can start with San Diego. We can start with, New Jersey. Yeah. Just because the secondary market is going to be easier. We can pick up on signals and stuff like that and see what's going to actually work. Right.
But that's, I think, a point there that you said that I want to pick up on. You're going to find things that actually work, not the buzz. And so that to me sounds like you're also, in a sense, you're actually there to save them. It's like the lawyer saves the client from the lawsuit.
Yeah.
The accountant saves the lawyer saves the founder, taxes, make sure that everyone's getting paid, make sure the
peace of mind, right?
Right, exactly.
Responsibility.
Right, but you're giving them time saving.
Correct.
You're saying, guess what? I'm telling you, you can spend your time here, you can spend your time there, and you're going to fail, or it's going to hurt, or you're going to spend a lot of resources and it's not going to go anywhere, or you can spend it on the right path that might seem a little also not the right path, or might seem a little outside your comfort zone, but it is actually going to save you time down the line.
Yeah. I mean, think about someone who runs campaigns on LinkedIn.
Sure.
Right? Picking up the audience.
Right.
Can you think about a campaigner that's, not going to choose New York?
Right.
They're gonna go with Illinois.
Sure.
Probably not gonna have. Why? Is there a problem? But Chicago is in Illinois, by the way.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm trying to think about we're gonna blast Manhattan just because.
That's what we know.
Yeah, New York. I don't know if you're gonna blast Manhattan.
Sure.
That's what we know. So yeah, this is not selling magic, right? I connected with a colleague from South Africa. He runs an agency there. And he's like, every time I jump on a call, they're looking for that silver bullet.
Yeah.
We want impact within a month. Oh, go tell that to your legal advisor.
Yeah.
He's like, I charge by the hour, my friend.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to do 2 weeks of work. Then I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. Then you're going to do the work. Then in a month, we're going to start working on this.
Right.
It doesn't work like that.
Right.
And I was like, if that's what you feel, just, you can reject some of those clients. I mean, there's a process. You need to, because we want to feel that we're providing value.
Of course.
We want to help them, get a few clients in the US, test the water, see what's the best approach. I mean, is it channel partners? Maybe there's someone who we can connect with.
Of course.
That can help you sell in the US faster.
Of course.
Would you? That maybe they don't want to hear about that.
So when someone comes to you and says, "Hey, listen, I'm looking for quick wins," what does that signal to you? Because that's even what you just kind of
challenging.
said. Challenging. Would you work with that person?
It depends. I mean, I think we want to feel that we're giving them peace of mind, also.
Yeah.
But also growth and time saving. So when I hear quick wins, I'm like, okay, what is a win to you? Impressions?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Right.
I can give you impressions.
Right. Make some viral campaigns. Let's move it. Sure.
You want leads? You just want calls with the wrong people? Oh, do you know your ICP? Oh, we know our ICP. Yeah.
Sure.
So, I mean, do you want credibility? Do you want trust? Do you want awareness? What do you want?
Right.
What is the end goal?
Do you want sales? Pure?
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, it's if you don't allow for research and discovery and ramp up time, it's going to be challenging. So I want to kind of align and be on the same page in terms of when we're saying quick wins, what does it mean? Why?
Right.
What have you done so far?
Right.
Tell me about your previous wins.
So in a sense, when someone says that to you, you're like going back to the start. You're like, okay, wait, you want quick wins? Let's start with what you have.
Yeah.
Let's start with what we know, and let's start with your goals. Like, don't start talking to me about, I have $20,000, let's rock. You know what I mean?
That's the silver bullet, by the way.
Yeah.
I want quick wins. What have you done so far?
Right.
So and I've had a client who asked me, who literally said, we want to go straight to enterprise clients.
Okay.
And I was like,
with the zero sales or anything like that?
Yeah. Straight. That's our ICP.
Sure.
And I was like, okay, right now you have a pilot with this company in Israel, and you're working on that with a different company in Israel. Do you know how long the sales cycle is going to be with an enterprise client? 5,000?
6 to 12 months at least.
You can see them like, Yeah, I was like, you want quick wins? Your approach is completely wrong right now.
Right.
And you see that, you
see the clogs going, the wheels are turning.
But at least that's good. This person was flexible and he was assertive.
Listening to people who are smarter than him.
But you can, if you feel someone doesn't do that, they don't respect your time, ramp up time, stuff like that, they want to go straight to the lean tactics, quick wins. I mean, I feel that you don't have to take it if you don't want to. And at the same time, I've got to tell you something it's pretty funny about the time at Boston. My wife is a pastry chef.
Okay.
And she went to culinary school in Boston.
Okay.
I don't cook, I grill.
Right.
But
you enjoy what she bakes.
Yes, and washing the dishes. That's what I do. But
that's our job at the end of the day.
Correct.
Yeah.
But I've learned something very important about strategy and go-to-market from the baking side of things.
Okay.
It's very precise.
Yeah, of course.
You have a recipe.
Right.
It's not cooking.
Right.
You can't fix it.
Right.
If your dough needs to rest in the fridge for 2 hours, and you're like, I don't have the time.
Right.
I'm going to let it
hour and a half.
Yeah. 30 minutes.
Whatever.
Or if a cake should bake at 160 for an hour and a half, and you're like, I'm going to put it on 220 for 30 minutes.
Yeah, something like that.
You're going to get like a burnt cake. It's not going to end well.
Right.
Okay. The same goes with, the CEOs like, I want quick wins.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that. I like that metaphor. Yeah. That's good.
Baking, my wife here, I'm doing this podcast with you.
Yeah.
I have to mention my wife. I told her.
Okay.
So, but, from baking, and it happened to me.
Yeah.
It happened to me in the past. Like, but.
So it's kind of like it's almost like you're not baking the idea well enough for the American market.
Your idea, your product, your go-to market.
Sure.
It's not baked.
So everything. Yeah.
I mean, it's not baked because you're doing things that usually you wouldn't do. I mean, you run an agency, right? You tell me.
Yeah.
What's the filter for you when you decide if you want to take a client or not?
So for me, it's often, I think, similar to you in that sense. I'm sure in a sense, all companies, go to marketing strategists, are looking at it like that. They want to understand where the client has started, what their goals are, and that's obviously how I'm going to kind of understand if I'm even capable. But one of the things I do like, and then you actually hit on it, is the ability of the founder and the person who's kind of sitting across from you to actually be willing to listen. Because it's one thing, listen, I have objective wins in my life, right? Just like you have objective wins. You've brought in X amount of ARR to the company that
undisputed.
Right. These are numbers. They're there. You have people who could testify, quote unquote, for you. It's all there. You have testimonials on your website, whatever. Yeah. It's there for you. You have objective wins. So when someone comes and tries to, in a sense, ask for your help, but really just tell you what to do, or really just say, this is what I want, I don't vibe with that. Even if they have a budget, it can be very hard for someone like me to want to budge with that, because I feel like I'm going to be micromanaged, and I feel like I'm going to be told what to do when they're not, in a sense, trying to understand, hey, listen, this is a collaborative strategy. Like, while I can handle a lot of the actual operations, whether that's building out, distribution networks, building out partner networks, building out email campaigns, building out, automations for CRM sequencing, whatever it is, making content campaigns, whatever. I can do that for you. I can literally operate that for you. But if you're not willing to understand, hey, maybe you should move, $5,000 of your budget to actually like localize some of your content a little bit more on your website, or take some of your budget, or take some of your budget and maybe start with a little kind of, guerrilla marketing campaign in a very specific area that's still your niche, but actually find that place and see if it works and get that kind of credibility. And these are just, 2 ideas that I've kind of thrown out recently to people. That's why I'm bringing them up. I don't want to really work with you, because it's telling me, just like you, it's like telling me, hey, you're not here to listen. You're here to tell me what to do. When it's like, listen, you can tell me what to do. Sometimes that's real. You might have a budget. You might have something that you have that I don't know. But we have to work together. 2
things on that. I think that, if you get a client like this, you don't want to lose the budget, because we all need to get paid, right? If this is like an execution engagement, that's fine.
Sure.
We leave strategy aside. But you reminded me of this situation where I was working for this company, and they had, I was full-time employee.
Sure.
And they had a great video promoting their product.
Okay.
And it was made in the UK.
Okay.
So the voiceover was 100% British.
Okay.
And they're like, oh, we're going to use it in the US. I'm like, no, we have to stop. No, don't do that.
Yeah.
It's like, the worst thing that you can do.
Yeah.
Right? But not only that, it's just showing you don't care.
Yeah.
It's not going to fly. And, the responses I received was like, oh, it's English. No. Yeah. I was like, No. So localize your content. Right. It's super easy, and it's catered specific. It's, by the way, it's relatively cheap, right?
Right.
Let's write a few articles, pieces of content, even one page. It doesn't matter for that market. It's not expensive.
Yeah.
Why not doing it?
Well, of course, at the end of the day, too, it's like the difference, as you even said, between, let's say, New York and Middle America, right? Yeah. Everyone in New York knows what the 1 train is. You don't know what the 1 train is because you're not from New York.
Right.
Right? But everyone, I only know this because I have family from New York, and I've been going there since I was a young kid. They know what the 1 train is, right? They know that. They also know, other little slang terms like that. If you're going and doing something with the 1 train in Chicago, or you're trying to use that as an example as someone in another place where there are subways or there are trains, but they don't know that, what have you done? You know what I mean? There's obviously, that's a very specific example, but it's like, not only is the language can be off or whatever, but, you can have even geographical changes just like that. You can have these cultural nuances, which we brought up in another episode, which is like always just something that's so real. So yeah, 100%. It's funny that you bring this up, because I actually just did a video on this the other day for social content for our company, basically, where I was talking about how we had a client who showed me their website. It was all written in British English. And I was like, what are you going to the US with this for? They're going to rip you apart, OUR and color. No, that doesn't work for us. We're not going to know what you are, and we're going to be scared. That's it. Yeah. We're going to say you're British or you're Canadian or whatever. It's weird.
That's really funny. But, and it gets me thinking, what do you think is like the cheapest or unnecessary mistakes that you've ever seen a founder does, that's an engagement of, I don't know, $5,000, $10,000 of research and infrastructure could have prevented?
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, that I think is also like the lean discussion, right? Because a lot of founders, they come to you and they're like, listen, I'm running a lean startup. I don't have that much, cash. I mean, I probably get that said to me on 90% of calls.
Yeah.
We're budgeting, we're lean, we're bootstrapped. Even if they rose a round A just recently, whatever, everyone does it, right? But, the one thing that I think is key is that, you'll have a lot of founders that'll come to you and they are very operational focused. And I think that might be an Israeli thing, maybe even from the
army?
Yeah, maybe the army or kind of the idea of just kind of, as just kind of moving forward here is a very big thing.
Let's push, let's win.
Exactly. Pushing, operational, resilience. And it's great. It's amazing. It's what, in a sense, makes the ecosystem so amazing here also.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like when you're focused just on the operations of your task going forward and just on the GTM of operations, in a sense, really, pushing out that creative, pushing out that campaign, getting that PR piece, it's tactical wins, And when you kind of take a step back and say, what is my overall strategy? What is my overall audience? Who is my real ICP? What geographies can I target first? How do those geographies work from a regulation standpoint, both state and national or otherwise? How do the governments and the private sector interact in that state to actually help business form?
Yeah.
When you can kind of step out and map that and then say, great, now I'm going to take my money and put it in this specific campaign, this PR piece in this area or whatever, that's like how you can really avoid a mistake. And I've seen that many times where, a founder comes to us, say, hey, we have $10,000, we want to run an ads campaign. Okay, but you don't have the understanding of even your ICP. You don't even have, beyond the fact that sometimes their infrastructure, their website is messed up, like I said, or they have no social content or whatever and nothing to validate themselves, you don't actually have kind of the overall awareness of even what you're trying to do. You're just like trying to throw money at a problem. And that's a very good way to like feel like you're doing something without really anything,
Psychology.
Yeah, reverse psychology at that sense.
Yeah, I mean, the ICP, I think it's not only everything that you mentioned, spot on, but not only who they are. It's not like a product manager at a company with, between 500 to 1,000 employees. It's not that. It's where do they consume information?
Exactly.
How do they, get a buying decision?
Right.
What the buying committee is made of. I hear that a lot right now. Mm-hmm. Like as if like it's a new thing. Right. What do you think? The VP product somewhere is like deciding on software in $100,000 just like that because he's got like a credit card. It's not gonna. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important, and I've actually had a story about this. I was doing this project. They want 1 month only, no discovery, nothing. They know their ICP. Okay, let's do it.
Right.
And it's not working.
Sure.
Why? Because, obviously we want to use LinkedIn. They're all there, but they're not responsive.
Sure.
Why? Because they're not there.
Right.
You can see them.
Yeah.
Everyone is on LinkedIn.
But they're not active.
They're not active. So we had to work with this, but obviously no one blamed me because they kind of knew. But even if they would, I would be like, no discovery. They're not there.
Right.
We're talking about very specific people. I don't want to give it away, but very specific people. I was able to save it because we already had the list, so we just figure out
other ways of going around.
Yeah, I mean that's the list. Those are the right people. Okay, let's get their email, and we're able to get to. They just want to text.
Okay.
They wanted you to reach out to them via phone.
Yeah, it's a different client. Where they are, you got to meet them where they are.
They're outside. They're not digital people.
Sure.
So they're outside. So know your audience.
So what is like, if you had to summarize your one, takeaway that you would say to a founder who's coming to you, trying to understand go-to-market and how they should interact with a go-to-market advisor for the US market, what would be your one piece of advice?
I would say that, it's very broad, but, treat me like you treat someone with legal background, with finance background, someone who's doing taxes. I know it feels like marketing and sales is something everyone knows, and you can get information in ChatGPT, Gemini, it doesn't matter. You can get information about that, about legal stuff and finance on ChatGPT also. But you're reaching out or you're working or trying to work with someone who's got more US experience than you. It's fine. I don't know if I mentioned this in the past, but I used to take calls with, and I had like really nice background with my MBA diploma on the wall, And I jumped on a call with someone and he got very impressed. And I was like, well, that's just I went to law school in Israel and my diploma. So he was like, but I told him, I don't know if it does any justice for me. He was like, yeah, that's an interesting question. Like, the fact that you're an American, you should feel bad about.
Right.
I grew up in the US. I went to school in the US. I understand the market. This is why we're talking.
Yeah.
I'm better trained than the lawyer and the CFO on this matter.
Yeah.
Listen to me. That's the only thing I'm asking. Listen to your advisor.
Listen to Son.
If you've decided to work with Jordan, listen to Jordan.
Right. But listen.
Open your mind, right? I think, and to your point, if you give someone I want to say GTM map.
Yeah.
Just I'm trying to visualize it like a dashboard.
Right.
This is where they are. This is how they consume information. I think it's pure gold.
Yeah. You're telling me. I agree with you 100%. I think to even like sum up what you said, listen to the advisor as though they were your lawyer.
Yes.
I love that. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to, but let them do the work, listen to them, see how it works. I mean, look at the data, do whatever you want with it, but at least take a look, give it a try. So we're not selling miracles, right? So
I agree. We're not selling miracles. That's the bottom line.